The Christmas Snowflake by Nancy Tansey Busher. When Solak, snowflake number 4779816230021, refuses to fall to earth without a purpose, all hell and heaven break loose. A huge black cloud, lightning flashes inside and booming thunder can be heard. Inside the cloud we see a giant workshop. A second thunderous boom is heard. In the workshop are huge white grinders, milling machines, stamping machines, saws, and presses running at a feverish pace. A compressor chugs and puffs white smoke as it builds power to run the presses. The needle on the gauge moves past the safety zone, and pressure is released, causing a third thunderous boom. Worker angels are running the controls of a stamping machine. Bulky angels work the big presses. Sparks and ice chips fly. Cherubs are carrying baskets of new snowflakes, not yet awake. Calculator tape spews out of a wall, tallying the number of flakes. A foreman angel checks off numbers with his clipboard. There's a chute. It drops down and goes around and around to an opening in the clouds. Cherubs dump sleeping snowflakes into the chute. The snowflakes wake as they hit the atmosphere outside. The snowflakes yawn and stretch and look around, bright-eyed and curious. There are more and more snowflakes filling the air. In the distance, stars twinkle. It's quiet in contrast to the bustling activity inside the cloud. There's a shooting star. Suddenly it changes directions. It shoots right toward us and stops. It's a fairy. It's a mischievous snow fairy. She laughs and zooms away, making sparkling designs of a vapor trail. The snow cloud is drifting toward the earth below. The fairy giggles and flies toward the earth as the snow cloud rolls over the eastern United States. Snowflakes are falling and babbling as they sail on air currents. The fairy zips to a cluster of snowflakes. "Hi, where are you going?" "He's going to Earth. We all are." "What's it like?" "Oh, you'll find out," she says, and zips away. She comes upon another snowflake, a fat-faced, angry snowflake, half her size. He's suspended mid-air with his arm points crossed. "What's with you?" "Go away." "Hey, there must be 10 million happy snowflakes. I don't have to talk to you." "It's 50 billion, so go. What do I care?" He catches a current and sails up into the clouds. The fairy follows. Inside, the cloud twinkles pink and blue. It's a world of ever-changing cloud sculptures. The snowflake sits upon what appears to be a stone wall that slowly becomes a narrow hedge, that becomes a picket fence. Beyond, a trellis of flowers becomes a charming gate that becomes a small cottage. "My name is Finn. If you tell me, I'll grant you a wish." The snowflake is wide-eyed. "You can do that, really?" "Sure. You'd be surprised what all I can do. Now tell me what's wrong." "Well, it's all sorts of things. First, there's my number. Solak is what I call myself, but my real name is snowflake number 4779816230021. He glides to a window cloud sculpture and looks out. Below are millions of sparklings falling to earth. Look at that. Now I ask you, what is there to be happy about? The window becomes an oval ring and then an ornate picture frame. They'll fall to earth and maybe land in a heap if they're lucky. The point is, they'll melt. Now I ask you, is that a life? Well, isn't that what snowflakes do? Not me. I want more out of life than a single free fall experience. I want something else. I want purpose. Solak moves to a cloud bench, which gradually changes to a table, then a bed. "Well, what can you do about it?" Solak is still pouting. "I refuse to go down. I'll just glide forever." "You can't. You'll keep growing. Well, besides, wouldn't you find more purpose on Earth?" "Probably, but I'd melt before I had a chance." Finn is very thoughtful. Well, I could fix it so you wouldn't melt, or until you want to, that is." "Wow, okay." "Now wait, on one condition, I stay with you and keep you out of trouble." "Oh no, I don't want a babysitter." She walks away. "Take it or leave it." Finn kind of glances over her shoulder. "I can get in a lot of trouble for doing this, you know." "Well, all right." Finn grabs his hand point and pulls him under a cloud layer. "Now hold still." Finn checks to be sure no one can see, then zips above Solak, flies in a circle over his head, enveloping and concealing him in fairy dust. You're choking me. Well, shut your mouth then. The dust settles, and he becomes wide-eyed with excitement. Is that all there is to it? That's it, says Finn. Let's go. They chase through the atmosphere. Far below are lights of the city. Inside the celestial hall of records, there's a heavenly room filled with volumes of books and bookcases rising 100 feet to the ceiling. File, an old, thin, white-bearded, bespectacled man, wears a white robe tied with a rope belt from which hangs many ornate keys. He's leaning over ribbons of ticker tape flowing constantly out of the wall beside his huge desk. What's this? What's this? A discrepancy. In all my years in the Celestial Hall of Records, this is the first. Oh my. He patters out the door, dragging the unbroken tape with him. He passes pairs of huge double doors labeled Archival Commission, Department of Doctrine, Genus Classification, Product Research, and enters Statistics Office. Inside is a white room that has small monitors covering every inch of wall space, 100 feet to the ceiling. A huge white desk is piled high with stacks of papers. A large white leather chair is at the desk, but File cannot see over the piles of paper to see if anybody's sitting in it. File knocks. A voice says, "Come thee." "Excuse me, Tatus, I have found, well, I think you should see this for yourself." Tatus is a cheerful, middle-aged, child-sized man. His head pops up above the papers. He holds a remote control unit. "File, it's good to see you. Oh, it's been a millennium." He hops down and rushes to shake File's hand. Tatus is very gregarious. "Oh, you old bibliophile, how are you?" Well, I'm fine, thank you. He hands the tape to Tatus. You'd better look at this." Tatus's expression changes from happy to serious to worried. "Oh, merciful master electrician, this is serious." Titus rushes back to his chair. "Have you told anyone else about this?" No, I thought we should double check in case it's a mistake." Titus pushes all the papers away and furiously pushes buttons on the desk. A monitor, a computer keyboard, a glass filled with assorted writing apparatus rises from the desk. He pushes buttons on the keyboard. What do we have here? Let's see. Universal Quadrant number 2, Galaxy Zone NW1532, Planetary Area 44E, Section W, Subsection NA30. All right, let's see what we got. They look closely at the monitor screen. Snowflakes are now falling to Earth above the Midwestern United States. File steps closer to the monitor and adjusts his spectacles. The printout hums and spews. Tatus tears it off and reads. Here it is. One of the snowflakes didn't reach his destination. Which one? Titus is scowling. Well, we'll have to investigate, and that'll take time. File's expression becomes a look of confusion. Time? Time? Time doesn't exist in paradise. That's what makes this a grave problem. This discrepancy could throw everything off. File studies the sheet intensely. A grave problem? Oh my. Titus pounds the desk in frustration. That snowflake may have been the very one to cause an avalanche, or melt in the spring snow to cause the river to overflow its banks. People, animals, plants, insects that should die will not. Many will be born before their time. Oh, it could cause utter chaos, pandemonium, anarchy. What can we do? Tatus considers the possibilities. Let's try to correct it before notifying the master. He's been under a lot of pressure lately. Let's spare him if possible. Oh yes, and I'll notify the messenger immediately to stand by ready for a mission. Tatus turns back to his monitor and begins punching buttons. File hesitates at the door. He's very grim. You do realize they may have discovered it too. Titus is very solemn. Yes, I know. Inferno Corporation offices. A shadowed, ominous, grotesquely medieval building is seen through a veil of puffing smoke. Fire reflects everywhere. Coughing is heard in the distance. Fire reflects on the walls. The door is labeled Data Systems Office. Inside Gordo's office, furnishings are charred, medieval, gaudy. The manager of Hell, Gordo, is a thin, sharp-featured, blond man smoking a cigar. He's dressed ostentatiously and sits behind a red enameled roll-top desk. His equipment is antique. Spewing paper frequently catches fire, and he nonchalantly puts it out between his fits of coughing. Whoa, what's this? Oh, my chief. He punches the intercom. It squawks. He punches it with his fist. Kathy, get the chief on the line. Call Humphrey. Cancel lunch. Schedule a low-level conference immediately. Bring my notepad. And where's my coffee? In a small suburban town, night has fallen. Globe streetlights line the boulevard. Shimmering specks of snow fall in a circle of light around each globe. The boulevard and storefronts are colorfully decorated for Christmas. Wreaths and holly chains and fat-colored lights are everywhere. It's a sparkling, glitzy city in 1950. This is it. Where do you want to go? Solak doesn't know what to say. Wow. Then he looks and points. I want to go there. Through the window of the jewelry store, colorful jewelry sparkles brilliantly. Statuary and fine crystal abound. Mechanized figures in miniature are Mother rocking a baby to sleep, Santa unloading his bag, and mice poking in and out from beneath the Christmas tree. Solak is mesmerized by it all. Finn calls, "Come see this." Solak jumps on an air current and joins Finn. Inside the antique store window, Solak joins Finn on the windowsill. Inside, they see an array of antique toys. "Look," says Solak. A mechanized life-size figure holds a glitter dome. The ball is tipped, then straightened. Inside, the figures of two children are engulfed in a blizzard of snow. Whoa! How can it snow inside that little ball? Finn laughs. Oh, Solak, it's fake. What's fake? Oh, well, that means it isn't real. Loaded down with Christmas packages, people hurry past the shop. A Santa on the corner rings a bell as passing shoppers put coins into a pot hanging on a tripod. Finn and Solak fly off to another store. Inside the department store window, an animated Christmas scene depicts snow falling onto swaying carolers. The song Winter Fun is heard, playing inside. Oh, Finn, it's beautiful. Is it fake too? Yeah, that snow won't melt. Oh, like me, huh? Inside the Inferno conference room, Gordo and his team of experts and Kathy sit around a huge table. Humphrey is a huge man, dirty, slovenly, and has a gravel voice. Gordo paces eagerly. "That's what we have, gentlemen. It's the opportunity of a millennium." He takes out a cigar. "Humphrey, you're assigned to 44E, right? Check it out. Find the cause." He lights the cigar on a hot doorknob. "And encourage it. The longer the situation exists, the more profitable it'll be for us." Humphrey struggles out of his chair and stands. "Anything else, boss?" "Report back when you have some news. That's all, men." In the town park, carnival music rings through the air. In the distance looms a dark, silent roller coaster closed for the season. The Ferris wheel, whip, and carousel carry the last of the evening's riders. Small concession booths dot the area around an ice-covered pond. Skaters prepare to leave. The park is closing for the night. Finn and Solak watch from a branch on a fir tree. "Solak, you might have been part of a snowball." "So what's the purpose in that?" "Well, none, I guess. But don't you think it might be fun?" Solak sails off on an air current. Finn shrugs and follows. Inside the statistics office, Tatus is hovering over papers and ticker tape ribbon piled high on his desk. Clicking printers, pecking calculators, tapping ticker tape, and the murmur of voices come from all the many small monitors. Tatus looks bedraggled. A knock is heard. "Yes, what is it?" File enters the room waving papers. He's still neat except for a smudge of ink on his cheek. "I found something." "Quick, man, bring it here." Tatus jumps down and meets File halfway. They spread the papers on the floor to study them. "It's right here. Apparently someone, or something, intercepted the Snowflake in its descent." "Excellent! Now we're getting somewhere." He reaches for his remote, punches buttons, and the monitors all switch to the same view. A replay of Finn pulling Solak under the cloud, spinning and covering him with fairy dust, is seen on all the monitors. "That's it." "Where's the phone?" The messenger is waiting for instructions. They rummage through the papers on the floor, then on the desk. I can't find it." Tatus dives into the pile and burrows through it. "I have it." His head pops up. He speaks into the communicator. "Has the messenger left yet?" "Good. Transfer me." Inside Gordo's office, Inferno. Smoke obscures our vision. Coughing is heard. As it dissipates, Gordo is seen at his desk smoking the cigar and watching the TV monitor. On the monitor, he sees File and Tatus searching for the communications button. Gordo laughs heartily. In the park, a Christmas tree is decorated with oversized balls and lights. Finn settles on a branch. Solak mimics her. Solak is wide-eyed with curiosity. What's happening? The lights are going out one by one, except for the Christmas tree. The park closes for the night. It'll open again tomorrow. Tomorrow? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Living things sleep at night. When they wake up, it's tomorrow. It refreshes them so they can continue. Oh, well, you'd better teach me to sleep then, because I intend to continue. Just close your eyes. It happens. Solak closes his eyes and begins to drift off. Suddenly, someone above them shouts, "Watch out!" Finn grabs Solak's hand point and jerks him away. Hey, what's the idea? Finn points. Look. Solak sees a huge black cat with a white patch over one eye, pawing menacingly from the limb. Just above the cat is a spider suspended on a thread of silk. The cat hisses and paws at the spider. Disappointed, he turns away. The spider releases his silk and is blown on an air current toward Finn and Solak. Wow, that was close. Whoa, says Finn, too close. Solak is just confused, but he's too exhilarated to be scared. What was that thing? That was the park keeper's cat, Big Fats. So, Spider, thanks. We owe you one. The trio stops to catch their breath. Sailing on air currents, they speed through the night. The falling snowflakes are but specks around them. Finally, the trio stops to catch their breath. Spinner breaks the excess silk thread he flies from, and it blows away in the air. Solak is growing ever so slowly, but the trio doesn't notice. My name's Spinner. I'm Finn. That's Solak. You know, one lick from that tongue, and we're all goners. Solak is still confused. Spinner, can you come with us? We're having a wonderful adventure. Finn scowls. The next morning, they find themselves in a charming little church that sits beside a small cemetery. Surrounded by lots of fir trees, it has stained glass windows, a bell tower, and a gold cross on top of the tall steeple reflects the morning light. Finn is curled in the corner sleeping. Spinner, asleep in a small web, snores softly. Solak is on his hand and knee points. He looks out over the town. A heavy blanket of snow has covered the neighborhood. A brown rabbit makes the first sprints across the yard. A dove flutters by and coos. Oh, this is magnificent. Solak is on his tummy. He rests his chin on his hand point. What a wonderful place, Earth. Finn wakes and stretches. Spinner scrambles from his web. Did you sleep well? Asks Finn. Solak looks puzzled. Spinner says, I dreamed all night. Cats were getting caught in my web. Finn and Spinner laugh. Solak doesn't get it. Come on, let's explore the park. Finn looks concerned. But what about your purpose? Oh, there's plenty of time for that. Finn starts to protest, but Solak glides off and Spinner releases a thread of silk, and they follow. Beyond the park is an old wooden roller coaster. Snow and bits of paper blow around its lifeless shell. A sign reads, "Closed for the season." Squeals and laughter can be heard, and we see Solak, Finn, and Spinner sliding down the icy track. The track seems to rush up toward them, dip, and begin uphill again. Solak sits in front of Finn. They're having the time of their lives. Spinner is huddled in the last position and looks like he may be sick. Feel that air on your face, says Solak. Isn't this great? Spinner's eyes are closed. Tell me when it's over. The track dips again. Look out, here comes another. Woo! Solak tumbles off the track. We hear him say, Wee! I have my freedom, and that's what I crave. Freedom to live as I please. I have my needs to fill, and I'm too brave to live and to die in the freeze. Life is more fun when you're free. Look at me, free as the clouds in the sky. I'm able to run all day in the sun, to slide and to glide and to fly. Liberty runs through my crystalline frame, freedom from fire and flame. No longer am I concerned with the warm, 'cause I am no longer the same. Just like a bird flying high, so can I. Hi, did you see me go past? Why haven't you heard? I know it's absurd. Snowflakes, for Pete's sake, never last. I now have freedom, and that's what I crave. Freedom to live as I please. I have many needs to fill, and I'm too brave to live and to die with the freeze. I fly like an eagle or monitor, or like a ship under sail. I know that I can, for I've taken a stand, and I know that no way will I fail. There's a clamor of carnival sounds. Humphrey materializes and looks around. He spots a food concession and heads for it. The concessionaire wears a white apron and a white hat pointed front and back. Humphrey checks to be sure nobody is looking and whispers to the concessionaire, "Just give me a couple of hot dogs with chili and onions. Make that 8. And 3 supersized root beers. Oh, and a small bag of potato chips. I'm dieting." He pulls out a small remote control type unit and pushes buttons with his fat fingers. The small computer screen flashes 44 Earth, Section W, subsection NA30, Town Park. He pushes the button labeled Scan. The instrument beeps. Humphrey looks around with a sly smile that curls on his lips. He points the instrument and turns it slowly. The beeping slows, then speeds as it points in the direction of the roller coaster. "Orders up." Humphrey stuffs a couple of hot dogs in his mouth, chomping noisily, and slurps down root beer. Then he stuffs a couple of sandwiches in his pocket, then rushes away, balancing the rest. He's spilling root beer, mustard, and ketchup on himself as he follows the beeping signal. We see the roller coaster looming behind him. Solak, Finn, and Spinner are sailing back to the concession area when Finn spots Humphrey. "Oh no, trouble! We've got to get out of here. Come on, Spinner." She grabs Solak by one hand point and dashes for cover. They hide behind a fir tree. Spinner follows. Humphrey is munching and slurping ravenously, spilling chili sauce, root beer down and into his shoes. He makes a slush bop when he walks. Sandwich wrappers, straws, cups trail behind him. He punches the instrument's buttons with his sticky fingers, and root beer drips fly. The 3 friends peer through the pine needles. "Do you see that man over there? He's looking for us." "What? Are you sure?" "I don't have time now to explain. We've got to go. Now." They sail off. Spinner follows. The beeping increases. Humphrey checks the reading and smiles as he turns and goes into the direction the 3 took. Near a snow-covered bush, Finn, Solak, and Spinner hide behind and peek out. "I think we're okay now. That thing in his hand is a spotter. It reads soul signals." Solak is startled. "Soul? What do you know about souls?" "Hey, I have a soul. What do you think I am?" "I'm sorry, I just thought you were, well, you know, like witches and devils." "What? I'm sorry, I just thought, well, because you know magic, you were well, you know." "Hey, the master made me a snow fairy. He doesn't make bad things." "Don't yell at me. He made the devil, didn't he? So he makes bad things." "Ugh, boy, are you stupid. The devil's ego is what got him in trouble. Arrogance and pride got the best of him. Greed made him a devil." Solak's trying to sound more confident. "Well, what about you then?" Finn gets right in his face. "Hey, Flake, I'm just working my way in like you." Solak. "Like me? I'm a sure thing. All I have to do is melt." "But you won't melt, remember?" "Oh, yeah. And now I'm in trouble because I helped." "Oh, Finn, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." "Just don't forget, we're in this together." Humphrey is headed their way, slush bopping, belly bouncing, food spilling, trash falling. "Okay, let's go," says Solak. Solak, Finn, and Spinner land on a mailbox near the skating rink. Solak glances over his shoulder, but Finn drags him inside. Spinner quickly forms part of a web covering the opening to make it appear unused. Solak, Finn, and Spinner huddle in the dark, empty space. They are now all about the same size. Humphrey approaches the mailbox. He sees the web, but he isn't fooled. Humphrey reaches through the web, pulls the door open, and shoves a filthy fat hand inside. The 3 separate as a huge hand reaches in, its flexing fingers grasping for anything. Spinner dodges to avoid the fingers, rolls into a ball, and rolls safely away. Finn flies out of reach of his fingers, but Solak is trapped. He backs into a corner as the fingers work closer and closer. He shrinks back in terror. Solak screams, "Finn, help me!" Humphrey's fingers reach for the terrified Solak. Spinner hops onto Humphrey's sleeve and dashes up his arm, but he's knocked off and falls out of the mailbox. Spinner drops a silk thread that catches on the mailbox, and he drops safely. Finn squeezes her eyes shut, grits her teeth, and accelerates up into Humphrey's face. She flies in close. Humphrey blinks. She persists. He tries to brush her away. She pulls at the hairs in his nose. He sneezes. Fend is blown a short distance away. She zips up, drops fairy dust in his eyes, coughs and sputters, and is momentarily blinded. She flies into the mailbox and pulls Solak out. He jumps onto an air current, and they escape, leaving Humphrey blindly, sneezing and sputtering. The trio hide behind a shutter of the concession stand. Spinner keeps watch. Fend paces feverishly. It's that spotter. It shows him where we are. Well, we need to do something. Quick, he's coming. Slush bop, slush bop, slush bop. Fend is nervous and frustrated. I don't know. Why don't you come up with some idea? Solak says, okay, let's sail. They leap just as a sloppy finger tears away the shutter. Ha ha ha! Got you! Other three! He stabs his pudgy fist to catch Solak. His fingers close with a squirt. Humphrey holds the closed fist to his eye. One by one, the fingers open. Ha ha ha! You can't get away from me. The hand finally opens. It's empty. Spinner says, quick, think of something. We can't fly forever. Solak says, we have to stop the signal. Hey, I've got an idea. He sails away. Fend and Spinner look at each other, shrug, and then hurry to catch up. Humphrey has the spotter in his hand. He follows the signal. It sputters and goes quiet. Humphrey frowns. He punches a few of the buttons. He growls. He scowls. He angrily punches 666. The monitor screen flashes, and the devil appears on the screen. He's huge and powerful looking, dressed in a red business suit and black tie. His horns are barely visible through his gray pompadour haircut. He sounds like Zig Ziglar. Humphrey's expression immediately goes from anger to humility. Oh, Chief, I was just calling Gordo. How are you, sir? He's out, I'm in. What do you want? I had a signal on the prey, then lost it. There are 3 of them. 3 snowflakes? No, sir, only 1 snowflake. I'm not sure about the second, an insect maybe, but the third is definitely a spider. We're only interested in the snowflake. Destroy the others. Bring me the snowflake. I have plans for him. Right away, Chief. Humphrey, what is that all over you? Oh, well, it's, I chased them into a trash pile, and, they got away, but I crawled through. Well, go get cleaned up. You want to give us a bad name? He ends the conversation. Humphrey growls, you little pest, now you got me in trouble. You'll pay for that. At the skating area, a little girl, Angelique, removes her skates. Her long brown hair falls freely beneath the scarf tied around her chin. She slips into penny loafers, slings the skates over her shoulder, and walks toward the concession area. Solak, a little bigger now, Fend and Spinner watch from the roof of the concession stand. It seems to me that if we hide with a human soul, the spotter won't be able to find us, says Solak. Fend is distressed. Sure, a human soul is much bigger, but humans are dangerous. Solak is agitated. Well, then you come up with an idea. Suddenly, Solak slips. He slides down the short roof, falls directly in front of Angelique. She quickly reaches out and catches him on her gloved hand. She holds the gloved hand closer for a better look, and she smiles sweetly. Well, what do we have here? Are you a white moth? No, I'm a snowflake. Fend is aghast. Oh no, he spoke to a human. Solak's embarrassed. I guess I'm kind of big for a snowflake, huh? I don't know, but you're awfully pretty. Fend throws her hands up in despair. Solak says, really? You're the first human I've met. Well, I've never talked to a snowflake before. Solak points. My friends and I are hiding from that man. He wants to hurt us. Angelique looks. Oh, can I help? You could hide in my pocket. Solak hesitates. My friends too? Sure. Fend reels. Not me. I won't be trapped by a human. She flies away. Spinner is undecided. But when Angelique smiles again, the spider shrugs and drops into her pocket, followed by Solak. Slush bop, slush bop, slush bop. Carousel music plays. Fend sits brooding on one of the carousel horses that goes up and down. How did I get myself into this? Solak and Spinner, captured by a human. Heaven is bound to miss him soon. I'll never be able to explain my way out of this one. Near the Christmas tree, Angelique walks nonchalantly, then swings around, crouching behind its lower branches. I don't see him. I think it's safe to come out. Solak and Spinner peek out cautiously, then climb out. Are you sure? She nods and holds up her hand. Solak and Spinner climb onto her open gloved hand. Maybe you should tell me what this is all about. Solak looks at Spinner for approval. He sighs helplessly and begins. You see, my real name is... On the park bench, skaters are in the background. Angelique sits on the bench, listening intently. Spinner sits on her shoulder, watching as Solak paces along the top rung. And that's when I got the idea to hide with you. I didn't expect to fall or for you to see me, but I'm grateful you did. What will you do now? Solak shrugs. I must discover my purpose. It's important to me. I'll do whatever is necessary. But first I better go find Fend. Spinner says maybe we should separate and look for her. They agree, and they all take off in different directions. Near the carousel, Fend is lying on her stomach, kicking her feet as she rides the carousel horse. She hums the carousel music. Suddenly, a soiled, chilly hot dog bag is dropped over her. Inside the bag, she beats on the walls. She rams the side with all of her might, but she's trapped. She loses her balance and falls as the bag shifts. She is being carried off. She hears something and listens. Her expression turns to terror as she hears slush bop, slush bop, slush bop. In a thicket near the park, a boy is stumbling. He is blind and feels his way with a stick. Davy, that's his name, walks into a low-hanging branch that scratches his face. He freezes with fear when he hears a strange, low, guttural sound. A mean dog jumps from the thicket and crouches threateningly in front of him. The dog snarls. Davy screams, "Help! Someone help me!" He turns to run but stumbles and falls in the snow. Solak is searching for Fend in the branches of the tree when he hears the boy cry for help. He looks around frantically. What was that? Fend? Angelique? He flies toward the sound. He glides over the thicket, but all he sees are snow-covered trees until... Help! Oh my, a human. He's in trouble. Solak looks around frantically, hoping someone will come to the boy's assistance. He pities the boy. He gets a determined look as he decides he'll have to be the one to help. Then he gets an idea. Solak speeds toward a limb, fat and weighted down with snow. He pushes it with all of his might, and when he can push it no more, he steps aside. The big dog looks up as the snow on the limb plummets down. It hits him squarely on the head, and with such force his muzzle is buried in the snow. The startled dog fights to free himself and then runs off whimpering. Solak rushes to the human but remains at a safe distance. Are you all right? Davy struggles to get up. What was it? Solak looks bewildered. I don't know, but it's bigger than a cat. Davy brushes himself off. You don't live around here, do you? I know everybody in the neighborhood. Solak smiles. No, I'm new. Don't you see me? No, I can't see. I was blinded in an accident. Gray clouds form over the roller coaster, and more snow threatens. The wind whistles eerily through the skeletal structure of the dead amusement ride. Inside an abandoned ticket office, the space is small, few windows, some broken. Humphrey makes himself comfortable on a rickety chair and carefully opens the bag before him. He peers inside the bag. His face fills the opening. His eyes widen as he attempts to hypnotize Fend with his glare. She is frightened, then slowly becomes sleepy. Her rigid body wilts and her eyes flutter slowly as she fights sleep. Humphrey smiles confidently as his glare intensifies. I have you now. Suddenly, something drops on his nose. It's Spinner. Humphrey's eyes cross. Startled, he shrieks. Humphrey drops the bag, and Fend falls onto the table. He frantically slaps at his face with both hands. Spinner leaps to safety. Fend recovers and flies away. Humphrey continues to slap himself with a stupid expression on his face. In Gordo's office, on a monitor screen, the replay of Humphrey slapping himself repeatedly is seen. Gordo watches. He begins to cry, lays his head down on the desk and beats the desk with his fist. How does he expect me to get my job done when he assigns me souls like this? I can't do it alone. Why can't I get good help? What does he expect from me? Miracles? In the thicket, Davy's mom is in the distance, calling. Davy, where are you? Davy calls back. Here I am, Mom. Wait till I tell her what you did for me. Solak looks around frantically. He hesitates, then sails behind a nearby snow-covered branch as Davy's mom approaches. Oh, honey, I was worried sick. How did you manage to wander off like that? I was just exploring, but, Mom, there was this wolf. I guess it was a wolf. It came at me. I was so scared, but this kid saved me. Oh, Mom, you should have been here. Davy's mom looks around. What kid? There's no one here. There are only your footprints, and maybe those of a dog. Come on, dear. It's getting late. They turn toward home. Well, okay, maybe it was a dog. A fierce dog, but I talked to the kid. There was a kid, Mom, honest. Davy is quiet as they walk. No footprints? Do you think it could have been an angel? Solak looks worried. Sorry, Davy, I'm no angel. He sighs, sadly catches an air current and sails away. Fend and Spinner are sailing on an air current, fleeing Humphrey. Fend is still dazed. Solak is sadly sailing toward them in the opposite direction, and they almost collide. Spinner says, "Watch out!" They come to rest on a branch near the ice skating rink. In the statistics office, Tatus sits in his large chair. Bile sits nearby. They're quietly watching one monitor as it replays the near collision. Tatus is so short that he has to reach up to drum his fingers on the desk. What do you think? Well, there's nothing we can do. It's all up to the messenger now. But how much damage can one snowflake do? Tatus is solemn. That, my old friend, is just what worries me. Near the Christmas tree in the park, beeping is heard. Slush bop, as Humphrey searches for Solak. He's mumbling to himself in his awful gravel voice. Little buggers. Think you can get the best of me, do you? I'll French fry that spider. I'll grind that snow fairy into powder and sprinkle it on top. I'll just gobble him up for a snack. Suddenly, the spotter begins beeping loudly. A wicked smile forms on Humphrey's face, and he turns in another direction. At the ice skating rink, Solak is half again larger than Fend and Spinner as they are relaying their stories. And then his mother came, and I had to get out of there. I hope you've learned your lesson. Humans are not to be fooled with. That one almost had Fend, said Spinner. Fend, fear in her eyes. That one is not human. He's from the bad place. Solak, if he gets you and takes you there, my fairy dust won't help. Solak is discouraged. I came to find a purpose for my life, and I haven't even thought about it. Well, you'd better start thinking about it, in case you haven't noticed you're growing. I am? Oh my, what should I do? What will happen to me? Ben just shakes her head. I don't know, but I don't think you have much time left. Humphrey is slurping a root beer and stuffs the last of a hamburger in his mouth with a squirt. Angelique walks up to the concession stand. She looks around. Humphrey eyes her suspiciously. Humphrey brushes his hands off on his shirt and steps out of sight. She takes a few steps before Humphrey reaches out and grabs her. She struggles, but he drags her toward the abandoned ticket office. Slush bop, as Humphrey drags Angelique by her long hair. You're hurting me. Where are you taking me? It isn't you I want, but you'll make good bait. Near the ice skating rink, the three friends sit on a bench watching for Angelique. Where can she be? Asks Spinner. Solak shakes his head. I don't know, but I'm getting worried. Should we split up and look for her? Finn shakes her head vigorously. No. Look what happened the last time we did that. We should stick together. They sail on an air current up and over the park. Below is the skating rink, surrounded by concession stands, the huge Christmas tree, the mailbox, the Ferris wheel, whip, carousel. And behind them is the roller coaster and small abandoned ticket office. Inside the ticket office, Angelique sits tied to a chair. Humphrey paces. Slush bop. Suddenly there is scratching at the door. Humphrey hastily waddles over to the door and stands flat against the wall as if he could hide that bulk. He pushes the door open ever so slowly, and in walks Big Vats, the park keeper's cat. Meow. Well, little fellow, what can we do for you? Humphrey picks up Big Vats and pats him. Big Vats nuzzles Humphrey and licks at the stains on his clothes. Would you look at that? He likes me. On the concession roof, Fend and Spinner sit pondering. Solak paces. I'm getting worried. Spinner says, we've searched everywhere. Where can one human go? Solak sees something on the ground. Hey, look, what's that? They sail down to investigate. They sail behind the concession stand to a spot out of the normal traffic, and they find Angelique's scarf. Something is wrong. She wouldn't leave this. Maybe the wind blew it off. No, she was looking for me, says Finn. Maybe she got tired and went home. Solak shakes his head. Or maybe something happened to her. Oh, come on, says Finn. What would happen? Don't you think it's curious that we haven't seen him in all the time we've been looking for her? I'm sensing trouble. Solak looks around. Let's say they are together. They aren't out in the open, so they have to be hidden. Finn says, humans are so big, they'd be hard to hide. Spinner just looks surprised. They can't leap or spin from silk. They're earthbound. Finn says, okay, so where could two humans hide? Solak, Finn, and Spinner all at one time say, the ticket office. Inside Gordo's office, he lights a cigar and flips the channel on the monitor to Earth. The monitor shows Humphrey pressed against the wall. Humphrey picks up the cat. Gordo, where have I gone wrong? What have I done to deserve this fool? He switches channels. Suddenly, Solak and Finn appear, and Gordo is glued to the monitor as a replay of the scene takes place. Solak saying, something is very wrong. She wouldn't leave her scarf. Gordo says, what a little pest you are, Snowflake. On the monitor, Solak is heard saying, let's say they are together. They aren't out in the open, so they have to be hidden. Gordo gnashes his teeth. Why couldn't I have souls like that working for me? Inside the statistics office, File says, should we step in now? Tato says, no, not yet. File is ruffled for the first time. Well, when then? File, you're not yourself. File humbly says, I'm sorry. Nearing the ticket office, Solak, Finn, and Spinner sail to a window. The broken glass pane allows them to see and hear what's going on inside. Through the pane, they see Humphrey talking to the cat, who is not visible to the three friends. So, my little pet, you must be hungry. Too bad there's no food here. They look at one another in shock. Solak says, what? Finn says, he's starving her. Spinner says, he's a mean old devil. They peer in again. Humphrey turns to Angelique, and they see her for the first time. Speaking for myself, I can't go long. Now, how long would you guess? Angry, Finn starts through the window, but Solak grabs her back. You are heartless, says Angelique. You of all people should know that. I'm tough. You're pathetic. You don't know who you're talking to. Inside Gordo's office, he's watching this on the monitor. He's up to his waist in flaming tissues. Each time he snatches one, wipes his tears and throws it on the floor, it ignites. He's sobbing piteously. Inside the statistics office, File says, should we step in now? Tato says, no, not yet. File, the tension is beginning to get to him. I'm not sure that I'm cut out for this work. Inside the ticket office, Spinner stands watching as Solak holds Finn back. Finn says, let me at him. The cat is playing on the shelf with 4 glass cups. Humphrey angrily steps toward Angelique. Humphrey reaches for his identification. I'll just show you who you're talking to, missy. The cat knocks 1 glass cup, crashing to the floor. He shrieks, leaps at Humphrey, sending 2 more cups crashing. Humphrey reels, startled. He screams. Solak fears the worst and leaps through the window. Finn and Spinner react and follow Solak. Inside the ticket office, Humphrey spins, loses his balance, and falls on the floor. Angelique's chair topples as she's knocked unconscious. Solak, without an air current, drifts helplessly to the floor. Spinner throws the silk and swings toward Humphrey. Finn threatens Big Fats with some judo screams and moves. The cat swats, and Finn zips back safely. Humphrey brushes the spider out of the way. Spinner falls to the floor. Solak tries to leap to Spinner's assistance, but cannot. Humphrey, smiling maniacally, steps on Spinner. Solak is aghast. He runs under the door to the outside. Humphrey sees this and laughs. Run, you wet, spineless coward! I'll defeat you all! Outside, Solak searches for an air current. He finds one and sails up and to the window and through the pane and back into the ticket office. Humphrey has covered Finn with a glass cup. She beats against it from the inside. Humphrey is jovial. We see Solak sail through the pane toward Big Fats. The cat looks up curiously at the large, oncoming snowflake. Solak is now fearless. "Hurt my friends, will you? I'll spit in your eye." Solak intends to kamikaze the furball, but the cat shrieks and leaps away. Big Fats jumps into Humphrey's face and the snowflake tumbles to the ground. Humphrey screams, "Wow, stupid cat, you scratched me. I ought to send you to..." Suddenly, Humphrey and the cat are swallowed up in a huge ball of flame. Gordo is heard screaming, "You are driving me crazy, you jerk, you idiot, you're fired, and you know what that means." Solak, who is now twice the size of Fend, pushes the glass over and it falls to the floor with a crash. "Are you all right?" I'm fine. Where's Spinner?" Solak shakes his head sadly. "Angelique?" They rush to her side. She opens her eyes and sits up. Solak, solemnly, "We were so worried about you. How do you feel?" "I'm fine. I must have hit my head. Humphrey couldn't hurt me. I'm glad. I was worried. I better leave." "Where are you going?" "Well, where I was meant to go, where I should have gone from the beginning. I've ruined things for everyone. Spinner is dead. Fend will never get to heaven now that she's helped me. And you, I almost lost you too. I'm such a failure. I should give myself up to Humphrey. I don't deserve heaven." A golden light seeps into the room. "Solak, everyone deserves heaven. You took a chance when you refused to come down, but life is full of choices and changes." Gradually, the golden light illuminates everything and everyone. You would have met Fend and Spinner if you had fallen with your group. Angelique takes on a quiet glow. You earned merits when you saved Davy from the wild dog and tried to save Spinner and risk your life with me. We all make mistakes. It's what we do for others that's important. Solak does not know what to think. Fend listens intently. "We all love you, Solak. And because you've done so well in this life existence, I'm authorized to grant you a wish. What would you like?" "Oh, can I live forever?" "You shall live forever, but not in this world. I can arrange for you to come back, say, every year at Christmas time, for as long as you like." "What about Fend?" Fend is a good soul. She has not found her purpose yet, and she'll keep looking. But she will find it one day. And Spinner? Well, see for yourself." She waves her hand and one wall of the room becomes a looking glass. We see the celestial gardens. Trees both bloom and bear fruit. A waterfall spills into a pond profuse with colorful fish, water lilies, and cattails. Fish leap, turtles bask, birds and butterflies abound. On land, rabbits, chipmunks, raccoons, squirrels, and deer run free. People play in the sun, and Spinner swings on a gossamer web. Fend pointing at a little man. "Hey, that's my pawpaw, the one throwing the ball. He died when I was very little." All who have passed are here. Fend asks, "Do they miss me?" The vision of the garden gradually dissipates, and the golden glow remains. They love you. They know life is hard, and they trust that you will live it the best you know how. Are you ready, Solak? Angelique, should I be afraid to die? Everything dies, dear. It's as natural as singing. And don't the flowers that die flourish again in the spring? Solak turns to Fend. "I'll see you next Christmas, okay?" Fend tearfully. "I'll be waiting. And when you think of him, he'll be with you." The golden light surrounds Solak and Angelique. Angelique walks into it. Solak waves to Fend. Solak's voice is like music. "I'll see you next Christmas." He turns and runs to catch Angelique. The end.